I have January 26, 2026. I'm Mark Springfield. I'm going to kick off this meeting at 6 p.m. of the Golf Course Advisory Board meeting. First item on the agenda is the roll call. So starting with me, if we could just go around and announce that we're here, then the tape can pick it up and the secretary can fill it in. So I'm Mark Springfield, I'm here.
Bill Hazel.
Ryan Hanks. Ben Wagner. Jeff Friesner.
Keith Martin.
Dan Reese.
Bill Davis.
Okay, great. So roll call is satisfied. So under the agenda that I have, the next item for discussion is the board reorganization, the election of the chair and vice chair. Do we have volunteers or nominees for either position?
It can't be this side of the table.
I know. So we have no one stepping forward for either position at this point.
Well, I'll just say, sometimes because of some health issues and my wife, family issues, right? Attendance for me could be an issue every now and then. So I'll step up if no one else does, but as long as we all have that understanding. I think you want somebody here, though.
And I think Ann is willing to do it again as well, but I think she's, like you just explained, going to have some attendance issues at times. So.
Yeah, I can piggyback on that too. As I looked over the proposed calendar, I could miss a couple meetings myself, just so that's on the table as well.
Yeah, and I would like to be more involved, but this is my third meeting, so I just feel like I'm too rookie to be the chair or vice chair.
You have no more or less time than anybody else. So can we nominate Ann in her absence to continue as
No,
chair?
feature be gone, not be gone.
So I think Ann's done a great job. I nominate her to continue as chair. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the motion's carried that Ann will continue to be our chair of our committee. Any nominations or volunteers for vice chair? All right, I volunteer.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So I'm counting wrong. You see 5 are here?
No, 3.
We have
5
3
total.
here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Okay, I'm
we
sorry.
only have 5 on the board, so 3 is our quorum now.
Okay, gotcha. I'm trying to follow this. I'm like counting heads. You were saying 5. I
Yeah,
wasn't hearing
five
right.
total.
Okay, not
Not
a
too
big
loud.
deal. I just wanted to make sure because it'd be like, well, this is kind of a waste of time. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I didn't want you to be like, and then we get to do it all again next month.
And is this for a year? Okay.
If Ann can't do it, I'll be happy to assist as a vice chair as well.
Yeah, we'll work it out. So we can reopen this, Sean, if you wanted to set up as chair or whatever.
No, I can't. I can't. So I was just trying to count heads and kind of trying to figure it all out. So
Yeah, and just for that part of the conversation, so we're down 2 board members. In June, the clerk's office will start the recruiting process again. Normally we're at the end of the year, but because we're short, two members, they'll do that. And I think the appointment will happen sometime in July. That those new people would start again in August then.
I thought they had a March opening for. But are you guys staggered, or some of the boards
Well,
staggered?
Yeah, half the boards get appointed in mid-year, the other half get appointed at the end of the year. And
Oh.
normally, the golf board is at the end of the year.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So what can we do to help to get more people asking.
I
to be
think
involved.
going out and letting them know that, and I'll let you all know when the application process opens, which I'm guessing it'll be April, May kind of thing. Yeah, and.
So
let
it's
you
okay
know.
to start socializing it with people that said it's coming up in April, May?
Yep, that's totally fine to do that.
All right.
And if they have questions you can't answer, please have them call me or call Ben, and we can help answer any of those questions.
Okay.
I would also say if you have a candidate in mind and want to invite them to a meeting, they can be here as part of the public to be heard.
That's great.
And
Okay.
see
I
how
have a
they
couple
do
that
it.
might be interested.
That'd be
We'll
great.
talk to them.
Be great.
I was just thinking about the idea that it's too bad we couldn't have a junior member like a one of the youth council type of folks on here to give that perspective. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I wish we had somebody who was maybe not on youth council but wanted to be a youth member of the board might get, I don't know, just
We may need your help with that because I think.
you got to be 18.
Yeah. So, and yeah. So we can certainly talk about that more as we get closer, and I'll reach out to the clerk's office and just see what their thoughts are on that, and then report back to everybody.
It just seems to me that of all the boards and commissions that is out there, the golf board is the one that would want to have a tap on what that junior crowd would want out of a facility. And it's too bad we couldn't even have it as they are part of the youth council, but somehow attend this sport too
But as a liaison.
as a liaison.
Yeah, can you bring them in as a non-voting member?
Yeah, but
And
they would
just-
give input, and man, would that be valuable to you guys to kind of figure out how to bring in that part of the puzzle.
We'll look into that.
Because I run into a lot of people that sure have a lot of opinions. I'd like to bring them on board and let this be exposed to what we're doing.
Gee, most people I deal with don't have an opinion.
I never hear nothing.
Sorry, I couldn't.
I know you digress. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on here. I think we have some time restrictions, as I understand. Item 2, approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
Before you do that, I have a change I'd like to make. On new business E and F, they got on there and shouldn't have. We've already completed the irrigation project, so that really doesn't need to be on here anymore. And the budget summary will be a part of next month's presentation. So I'd ask you to approve the agenda minus 8E and F.
Okay, so then let me put that back out. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda amended with the elimination of items E and F as originally distributed? A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the agenda is approved as amended. Okay, so we then need to go on and approve last month's meeting minutes, and I think everybody should have that. Are folks comfortable what's been indicated here? In my copy, I have
I'm just looking at
an X out for
Yeah.
some reason. Is that can you help us with that?
XO?
Well, under item 8, volunteers for new board member recruitment interviews.
It was on the agenda, but was
Yeah,
never
we
discussed.
removed it because we didn't have any candidates.
So
Okay.
it was on the agenda, there's just nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same protocol, as I understand it, as stated and with that item B under item number 8, new business, eliminated, are we comfortable with this agenda? Do we have a motion to accept? Or
A
not
motion
the
that we
agenda, but
approve
the minutes?
the minutes from the last meeting of October 22nd.
Okay, motion to approve, second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the minutes have been approved. Not seeing anyone from the public here, I will pass on item number 4 or 5, which is public invited to be heard. And we're now at number 6, communication. That's where we get to hear from you all. So however you want to do it.
I'll go ahead. It'll be a pretty quick summary. I'll just do all 3 courses individually, but fairly quick. Start with U Creek. Ended up with a really good December. We hit that goal of 50,000 rounds. Got to 50,633 rounds. For the year, compared to 24, we were up 5.4% in revenue and up 4.8% in rounds. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks for the year was up 1.17% in revenue and down 7% in rounds. Still, though, they eclipsed here at Twin Peaks last year's revenue. And, it's a very good year. Had a really good November, December at Twin Peaks. So that was super. Twin Peaks or Sunset up 5% year to date over the previous year in revenue and up 4.14% in rounds. And just another amazing year at Sunset. Just continues to last. Gosh, when you look at it, just continues to just be amazing over there. And Ryan's doing a great job running both golf courses. And, any questions for the golf course?
Over $5 million in revenue. Did everybody see the sheet that Danny sent out? That kind of is a summary that shows you the revenue and expenditures. I think, Mark, you had asked about that at one of our last meetings and wanted to provide that. But, and again, I would just remind you that these aren't final numbers. Those won't be final until I think it's in June. But just to kind of give you an idea of where we were, but we almost put $2 million in the bank that will help us with, capital projects. With probably one of our biggest ones coming up is the irrigation replacement audit U Creek, which we think is going to be that close to $8 million. So we got a ways to go.
So when I was trying to read this, I got a little confused between the first column and the third column, which is 2025.
She did that.
versus not
Ignore
final.
the third column. She didn't do that the right way.
Okay, that's probably what I was confused.
Not right in what way?
She doesn't have the right numbers in there. Because it's not the actual budget. The 2025 actual, the first column, is the main number. It shows you, based on the numbers we have in our financial system, what they are right now. And that's both for revenue and for the expenditures. The budget shouldn't change. That stays the same. She shouldn't have done that in that column. So we'll get that fixed. But overall, it still shows you what I think you were after. Is we were showing just the revenue, or talking about revenue every month, but it also shows you the expenditure for the operating budget. This does not include capital projects.
So when it says not final, it's not final because capital hasn't been added?
No, it's not final because the books haven't been closed out for the year and audited.
But the budget's the budget, right?
Yes, yeah, that's why that should have changed. She said not final. Well, that's not the one that's going to possibly change. It's the first column.
Okay, so the budget's the budget.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
But your actual's gonna change.
Yes.
And why does your, just out of curiosity, why does it take you to June to finalize your actuals?
That's the city process that the finance department takes care of, and that's their timeline to do it.
So you're gonna have to speak to Jim Golden about that.
No, not
No,
anymore.
it won't do you any good. Jim retired a year ago.
Oh, no wonder.
So he'd say, I agree with you. Teresa Malloy is now the finance officer.
They always do that just to have any sort of changes that might have come in the books and everything, because then they're required to start the budgeting process, to get a budget prepared for, was it August 31st or something like that? I think that's
To get it to you, yeah.
Yeah, and so then they start presenting budgets September, October of every year.
So, would you expect anything dramatic
No.
to come in? So that it's reasonably good.
It should, yes. Yeah.
And you definitely exceeded your budget by quite a bit of money.
The revenue, yes.
Well, both, yeah, your net number, revenue over expenses is
Yeah.
quite a bit over your estimated numbers as
Yes.
well.
Well, not in, we're under budget for expenditures.
Right,
Yeah.
so you were expecting 300,000 and you ended up with $1.9 million almost.
Say that again?
You were expecting to finish 2025 with a overage of 300,000.
Yes, gotcha.
Yeah.
In the budget, but you actually are going to be somewhere around $1.9 million,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is, in my view, a great performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Revenue-wise, it was our best year that we've ever had, and we hope that 26 is the same thing.
So, I was in Price Park, right next to Sunset, and somebody asked me, "What do you think of the golf course?" I said, "I like it. I'm glad it's here." He goes, "Well, don't you think we should use it for a park? Shouldn't we close it? Doesn't it cost us money?" And so I could tell them that we made 1.8 million on it last year.
That's
That's
not-
what the
that's
golf
not-
side said,
Golf
but you
courses.
made money.
Yes.
Right.
For the golf fund.
For the
Yes,
golf fund.
Or the
yeah.
golf fund.
And just.
Okay.
Because otherwise people get a little confused about that.
Because they start talking like, well, where's my refund?
Yeah.
People are not paying taxes to the Gulf Fund except for what they voted on in 2018, which paid for the irrigation systems and the maintenance buildings.
Okay.
That's the only thing that taxes are paying right now. Everything else is being paid for through fees and charges.
Because this person's going around and talked to 3 of my neighbors and said, "It's very expensive to run this golf course and we're paying for it." And I'm like, I don't think that's true.
It
Let me
is-
find
that
out.
is- That is not true.
Okay.
Definitely not true.
And this is online somewhere where they can see it?
Yeah, but it's not that
Easily?
as easy to understand.
Okay.
Somewhere in enterprise fund.
The golf fund is an enterprise fund.
Okay.
A self-sustaining enterprise fund, and we make all of our money through the golfers and what the golfers pay.
Okay.
Just
Minus what Jeff
congratulate
said
us.
about
2018.
Yeah.
which was the only time ever that ever happened in the entirety of the golf fund,
Okay.
where we received money and funds from the city. And in fact, the golf fund pays the city back money, so
Yeah.
But-
there are goods and services that we use when we provide them.
And in reality, if it is turned into a park, it's gonna cost the taxpayers
Money.
more money.
Right.
And right now, the golfers are paying for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
When I was interviewed for this spot, I was asked a similar question, which was, what do you think about turning one of the golf courses into affordable housing? So I mean, that dynamic is out there,
is.
you know. If it's not gonna make it as a golf course, what are we gonna use it for, kind of thing?
I think there's
What do
some
we do
pressure.
to get that word out? Because there's obviously confusion about that.
I think the challenge is that that's an ongoing thing that has always been there. Because we're a part of the city, there's always that belief that tax dollars are paying for. In, I think it was 1985, the enterprise fund was created, which set all of the golf operation into a enterprise fund, which requires us to generate our own revenue to pay for our expenditures. So, and again, short of the 2018 bond election that passed, it's my understanding that we will never have the opportunity to go to a tax vote again. That the expectation is that golf pays its way.
Okay.
So are the golf courses free and clear of that obligation? Is that all been paid down, or do we still owe the city money for that?
To complete the maintenance building, we borrowed $2.2 million from the fleet fund. That will be paid off in 34. It was a 10-year debt. The original building of the golf course, we had also a loan with the golf fund, or excuse me, the fleet fund, and it was paid off in 23.
Okay.
That's for U Creek.
U Creek, yes.
When U Creek was built, the golf fund borrowed money and paid to build U Creek in 1996-97.
That's not completely, that's close. There was no debt originally intended. That the thought was that the fees and charges would pay things off because it was a revenue bond. And when we were struggling to make the payments, instead of paying a bank for that, we borrowed money from the fleet fund because it was less money, and then it paid off in 23.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also there's kind of a movement out there. When we started talking about, and this is apples and oranges issues somewhat, but talking about airport landing fees and stuff like that, and Ben will attest to this with the idea of how our recreation has to cover 80% and that, and for 80 years we paid into paid to sustain that airport and backfill it with taxpayer dollars when we could to make up the difference that we didn't get from other sources and from grants and things like that. There's talk amongst some folks that are trying to point out how that's the. I think there's a little bit. You might have somebody who's kind of hot on that issue, opposed to about not having to have landing fees out there. We're not talking about dynamic pricing out there for landing fees or anything like that. So it's just they just want to muddy the waters with a little bit of questioning about this. And then there's folks that were running for public office here recently that thought we're spending our money on we should be housing people and finding places to house people, and they see the golf course in the middle of town like that and don't see the big scope that it's an encompassing sort of big picture sort of thing. So those two pressures out there are somewhat muddy the waters. I think it'll eventually go away. There's when the conversations about those things get more specific, but people want recreation. They don't want less recreation. They want more recreation. They want more opportunities to play golf and to do other recreational activities. But we can't be everything to everybody. So, and the community is kind of behind the idea that we better start making the airport profitable. So there's some folks trying to muddy the waters with their own personal agendas. So just take
So
that.
you think that's the driver to what Bill's hearing?
I'm wondering if that's not the driver. I really do. I wonder if there isn't, folks trying to say, look, golf course, they don't pay. They don't pay for themselves, or they're just big plots of land in the middle of communities. when we've got a housing shortage and other things like that. So I think between that and just wanting to continue to go along the way we've done, where we've paid for it as a community, is probably not is probably a driver out there. Because I'm a little surprised to hear this, because anybody who lives near the golf course and would be up in that park and everything like that would be somebody who's like knows that their value of their house is always going to stay nice and
Right.
strong up here. I just can't imagine.
I don't know that
anybody's-
person. I lived in that neighborhood for 25
Yeah,
years.
yeah. I just can't imagine anybody suggesting that if they live there,
Mhm.
because I would think I can't imagine Roger Lang saying that.
No.
I'm kidding.
It wasn't Roger. I know Roger.
I'm joking. Anybody who's on tape here, Roger Lang is a former mayor. He would not say that.
I actually taught his grandson to ski.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So, and we can invite them to this meeting as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Come to this meeting. It's an open meeting. They'll tell
Yeah.
you everything is
Generally, in these meetings, we don't have those interactions with the public. They're
Mhm.
welcome to come and listen in. But if they want to have a conversation in depth about the budget and how golf operates, it would be better that happened outside of this meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
What's our, as part of the board, what's our concern, or what should our concern, if any, be when we are approached with those questions?
Well, I would hope that when we talk at these meetings, that you certainly bring things up, or you can call us anytime. If there's an issue you have, I'd much rather have you call and let's talk about it than wait 2 months and then it's too late for me to
Sure.
make a change or to address something. But asking questions here, hearing what we are providing to you all, I think that's the key. And again, if there are members of the public, whether they're golfers or non-golfers, having them reach out to us or collect their phone numbers or whatever's easiest for them, and we can call them too.
Excellent.
We're always glad to talk to anybody who calls. Usually we can answer their questions.
I just know that, we went through that training, the city attorney,
Yeah.
regarding media and stuff like that, so. just wanted
If
to
the
find out.
media reaches out to you, I think that's the best thing to do is push that back to staff. We'll reach out to the communications teams and they'll respond to that.
Does the city have a hotline for that, for these sorts of questions?
Yeah, there is.
I don't expect you to know it, but I just, if
There are-
somebody asked me, I would say, well, the city has a hotline.
The thing that is done that usually is going on, and there are ways to email council, and then council pushes that back to us to be able to respond to the individual, and then we also respond back to council, so they're aware that we close the loop on that.
There's a portal, and if they email, then emails that are specific like that would go to the golf folks and the the Parks and Rec folks, and every council member gets that. And if a council member wants to respond directly, they can, or they can also assume from my training that staff is picking it up and responding back on those things. I could give you Councilmember Popkins' number if you'd like.
We can
No,
do that offline.
So,
Unless you want to say it for the camera.
I was just kidding.
if we back up just a second here, probably 99% of what you're referring to, have them call me or Ryan
Okay.
directly, or email me or Ryan directly. And if we can't answer that question, or it needs to be a Jeff or Ben or Ryan or Dan answer your question, then we'll move it to them.
Sure.
This venue, probably not the best place for it, but 9 times out of 10, we had a guy email us over the weekend about the different booking engines, member booking engines versus the public booking engine that we have to book tee times online. And was very concerned and had a question about it. And I called him up today on the phone, answered his question. Had a nice conversation, done. 2 minutes later, problem resolved.
Awesome.
So most of what you guys will come up with or come across, just send them to us.
Okay.
We're here to help. And if we don't have the answer, we're not going to make one up. We'll move it along to Jeff or Ben.
And last week we had an open forum and we had somebody come before us about a specific issue. I'm sure these guys were taking down that guy's name. And
Oh yeah, I've already talked with him,
Yeah.
and in fact I have the email ready to go out to council as the follow-up for that.
yeah, so
I understand, you don't want to turn this into a city council meeting.
Right.
So then that's not, I just want to make sure we're.
yeah, no,
our
I'm just
responsibility.
I'm just
You
saying.
guys.
More often than not, you will get questions that are directly related to golf that you may or may not know the answer to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't, by all means, hey, give Keith a call, send Keith an email, he'll get right on it.
Sounds good.
And just to be clear, the public is always welcome at these meetings.
Yeah.
They are.
Absolutely.
Okay, then, if we're done with that one, just to summarize, my understanding then is the only existing obligation that the golf courses have is to satisfy this 2034 maintenance building
Okay.
debt.
Yeah.
Do you pay that, is that
It's paid annually.
amortized? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Any other questions with respect to the budget by the board or anybody else?
No, sir.
Or to the actuals? Okay, then,
I had one real quick. We had the best year ever. Where do they talk about, what did we do different that we had such a great year? Was it just the weather, or did we do something else? Was it the changing of the rates? Was it,
The
and is this the right place to even talk about?
oh yeah, COVID made all the difference in the golf world. And each year since COVID, since 2020, we've had another successful year where revenues have been better than the year before.
Okay.
That better than is getting smaller, the amount of growth, but people are just hungry to play golf, and right now there isn't enough space for everybody, and so if you can't get if you're from Loveland and you can't get a tee time, you're coming to or trying to go to a different golf course.
Okay.
Certainly the increased fees are helping with that, but I don't think they're the big driver to make that push us over the top there on
Okay. So there's no one thing you can point to that says, let's keep doing this.
that. I think just overall general, and then we kind of talked. Sorry, Keith.
No.
We talked a little bit last time we met about how we're going to do the tee sheets, where whether you call or go online, you get the same rates rather than getting a better rate if you go one way or another. I think that ultimately that will bring in more revenue. We didn't do any fee increase this year because we're trying that, but again, I think that people are wanting to golf, that younger people are golfing, and that's the key.
With respect to the booking engine, though, there's the member booking engine, and then there's the public booking engine. So let us not think that if you have an annual pass that we're dynamically pricing that we are not doing that. There's been no increases to the annual pass fees, no increases to the memberships of any kind at all, and that will remain. And the membership booking engine will remain an option for people to book tee times online and not have to prepay.
Okay.
The booking engine he's referring to is the one where everybody else that plays, which, believe it or not, makes up, I don't know the exact percentages, but well over 60% of our rounds. So everybody else is going to be a very fluctuating, dynamically priced situation and consistent from if you call the pro shop or if you miss the call at the pro shop and it goes to our answering team, or if you're booking it online, it's going to be one rate across the board. For, obviously for different categories: juniors, seniors, adults, weekends, so
And
forth.
how long you wait to book before commercial?
Yeah, all that. But we'll be quoting the same exact rate regardless.
Yeah.
But as far as golf goes, yeah, COVID got us started, but relative to golf, maybe 20 years from now, someone will look back and probably produce some great book that talks about this. But you got to realize, for the better part of 2 years, a lot of people couldn't do anything.
Right.
And the one thing they could do was golf. So a whole bunch of adults took up golf, but even better than that, for the future of the game, a whole bunch of children that were members at country clubs, and they could go play golf, and that was the only thing they could do, took up golf.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got wins on all sides, and then they realized how much fun golf was, and that's why it's continued to grow.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we did good. But the reason that we're making the money, ours are able to raise the rates because of supply and demand. When you're full, you have to raise the rates. When you're empty, you have to lower the rates to try to attract business in. And that's what we've gone from since 2017 to now.
Okay.
We got full tee sheets at all the golf courses.
'Cause that's when I interviewed, that's one of the questions they said, what would you do to, bring more people in or raise the revenues?
And at one time, that was a really valid question.
Okay.
Right now, we are riding on some coattails, and right now we're trying to manage, as my former the pro at Ute Creek used to say, rather than trying to recruit people, we're trying to manage them.
Okay.
And that's what the game
It's a good
changer
thing.
was. Yeah, it's a really good problem, and we're living in a good time for golf.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
I was going to ask this question later, but since we're on this topic, when you talk about booking in Golf Now and that sort of thing, are there availability issues between what the shop would say and what Golf Now would say in terms of getting a tee time and that sort of thing? And the reason I ask that is I personally had an incident where I went through the call center. In the call center, there was indicated there was no availability for the time that I was interested in. But we happened to be driving by, so we stopped at the pro shop, and there was availability. Is that just a fluke thing,
Well,
or is that
tee times
how you manage the availability to Golf Now?
Well, tee times are fluid, so if there was a lot of availability, then that's
There was a lot of availability.
So then maybe the person that answered remotely didn't have all the tools they needed to properly make that tee time. You were smart to check, but there can be instances where I have an event booked. It's a Wednesday. The event's booked on Saturday or Sunday. They call me. We're going to have 40 players instead of 80 players, 40 instead of 60. And then all of a sudden, the first thing I'm going to do is pull out my iPad, because we're a cloud-based system, and I'm going to free up those tee times. So it'll go from no availability to 20 open spots in a matter of moments.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what happened.
So if
in
that
this
happens, something
particular
like that
case.
happens again, that's another one of those things. Give me a shout, let me know. Happy to look into it.
Yeah, I was just curious as to whether there were other dynamics involved in the relationship between the course and Golf Now and how
And
that's all
it should even be even more together this year, because we're going to try to work off of one tee sheet that is the same tee sheet booking engine on the internet. Will be the same booking engine that we book people when you call to the golf course, which will be the same booking engine that the Golf Now Answers team has as well. So now we've gone from 3 to 1. So that's going to really streamline those tee times, and that should make it a lot better. Now again, we have a meeting with them Wednesday this week to kind of begin this process and move towards this. And so we're in the early stages of trying to make that. It's on our thing to do, but they got a new sales rep here locally. She's finally ready to go. So that first meeting is going to take place this week.
Okay, good. And one follow-up question on the money this year. I think last time we talked that this is the wrong term for it, but you have a a rainy day fund from overages in the past. And I think you threw out a number which I can't recall. With the $1.8 million, $1.9 million, do you know what that number is up to now?
No, I don't yet. I haven't. I think the number's over 5 million, but I haven't seen the final number yet.
And the goal is to get to the 9 million for the irrigation.
Yeah.
At some
And the other thing is always carrying $1 million as carryover for those rainy days, where if we have a summer where it rains all the time, we're not bringing in the revenue, we still have those funds available to continue to pay the bills and the staff.
rainy day, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to move to the next topic, if that's okay with folks here. And old business, the agenda shows that there is none.
Yep.
If that's satisfactory to everybody else, I'll move on to number 8, which is new business. And I didn't know we had to do these sorts of things, but designation of meeting day and time, fourth Monday at 6 p.m. Are we supposed to vote on this? Or?
Yeah, and you certainly can have a conversation if that time is not working, that we could adjust that. But if it is, it's one of the requirements from the clerk's office is that you designate that and approve that through a motion and a vote.
And is that every month?
You would only do this in January.
No, but
Yes,
every
that
month
is
on
the-
Mondays at 6, have we agreed to that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we did October and then we missed a couple because of
Right.
holidays.
This is, if we are going to have a meeting, it's the fourth Monday at 6 o'clock.
Okay. And sometimes we'll skip a month.
Yep, and we'll get to that here on the agenda in just a minute.
Right, thanks.
Do we need to motion that?
Yes.
Well, before we do that, I just want to ask, because I'd like to do all these at one time.
Yep.
So the designation posting of the golf course advisory board agendas, where's it get posted now?
That's on the city website and at the 3 golf courses.
So it's posted somewhere in here.
It should be, yes. I think there's a board back over here, but with
The
nobody,
official location
yeah,
is the
it
city
is the
website.
city website, yeah.
Okay, and what is established 2025 agenda items? What is that?
So that in your packet was this
Okay.
proposed, and based on a couple of things all 3 of you said, I think this should be discussed separately from those, because I think this is a bigger conversation.
I agree.
But I think you could do, for sure, A, B, and C in one motion, that if you're all right with this, that everything would stay the same for the day, time, location, and posting.
Okay, that you read my mind, because that's exactly what I would propose to do. So I propose that we continue as we have now, items A, B, and C. Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's satisfactory to
Yep.
the city.
Yeah, thank you.
And then it sounds like, as you just said, we need to talk about establishing 2025 agenda items. Can you help us with that a little bit, Jeff, and get us moving?
Yeah, so in your packet, there is the proposed schedule for the meetings for 2026. And again, based on some of the things that you all said, nothing is set in stone that this has to be the way it goes. You all can decide to meet January through June and then not meet again till October. The past boards have liked that we met the first couple months of the year and then tried to go to every other month based on the need for the board to meet. But you could also choose, if you think we have enough agenda items, we could meet every month. That has not been our history.
So this is just consistent with what we've been doing
Yes.
previously?
Yeah. And again, if you don't want to meet in February and we meet in March, that's all right. However it works best for your schedules, we can schedule that way. The only thing I would say is that in April I can't be here, so I would ask you. Yeah, I would ask.
Glad
that.
you said that, because I was gonna say, it's
Yeah.
just one in April.
Yeah, I would say we need to skip April.
Can we move, and if we could move the June agenda items to May, that would help, and then we just don't meet in June, July? Mainly because I just retired and I'm gonna travel this summer.
Good for you.
I do plan on,
Well, we could come to you.
I own an 8-bedroom house up in Michigan, come on over.
Skype.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm okay with that. Does Mark and Bill, does that work for you?
Considering it.
Yeah, generally, before we get there, because there may be other changes, and we can do that all at one time too. So the proposal for the dates that are on this piece of paper, did they mirror the 2025 meeting dates, or is this just somebody's?
They mirrored with some adjustment. But generally, last year we met first 3 months, and then we started going every other month, and then chose not to meet in November, December, because most years golf courses aren't even open.
And May 18th is the third Monday instead of the,
Yeah, and that's because of the holiday. So we generally move up a week.
okay, and that's graduation night, or graduation weekend also for Longmont, a lot of the high schools here.
The 18th, the Memorial
25th.
Day weekend, yeah.
Okay, I understand that, that makes sense. Well, you have no meeting anyways, but.
Okay, so what I'm hearing so far is that April is out as a meeting month. February is okay
Yep.
at the 23rd. I will not make February's meeting, so.
So where does that put us with having a quorum?
Ann would need to be here.
Okay.
Or Jesse would need to be here,
That's a
which
good question.
we had not heard that Jesse was not going to be able to make it tonight. So Bill's, and if Jesse shows up, then we'd be okay.
Okay. As long as old man winter doesn't prevent me from flying back from Florida, I should be okay.
Okay.
So
Again, if February doesn't work, we could skip February and meet in March.
We have March planned right now.
Yeah, I'm good with the schedule.
Okay.
so you're comfortable with it, and which was the month, Bill, you wanted to?
I was hoping to move June to May.
Okay, are you comfortable with that, June
Yes,
to
sir.
May? I'm okay with that.
And I can always fly back for one meeting, because I have some stuff to do, always here anyways.
We won't make you do that.
Doesn't
If
matter.
none
That's
else,
it.
we
Comes
could-
play golf.
You should be
Yeah.
the chair.
Big old speed yard.
Now you're probably getting scheduled.
Yes, we could Skype
Okay.
or
Or
do Zoom.
Zoom in, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other proposed changes?
No.
Yeah, I think I'm good with the other dates. So I'll make a motion to adopt these meeting dates with the recommended change of moving June into May. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor? Okay, there you go.
Did you have a vote on A, B, and C? Did I miss that?
Yeah, we did.
We wrapped them up all
We're
in one and
Yeah.
just passed them.
We talked really soft so you couldn't hear.
So, under item D, Jeff, was that all we needed to accomplish tonight, or do we need to?
The
do some of
other
those?
part of that is if you have any items that you would like to see added in a future calendar, now would be a good time to talk about that as well.
Okay.
I have a question, and it kind of relates to our earlier conversation. So, the golf courses are self-supporting. So you have to generate the money to keep the golf courses going. If the future is as 2025 was, where you're making more money than you suggested you're going to make, I think that's good because you can liquidate some of your debt and some of that earlier if you want. Is it possible that if you do so well that the city will then come and take some of that money back from you? Or do you, once you have it, it's yours?
I believe, and council can do whatever they choose to do, but the way the enterprise fund works is that that money would stay in golf and it would not be available for any other use unless it had a benefit to the golf courses to be able to be a part of that. And I'll use an example of that. There was a time a couple of years ago that on Pace, where it goes over the golf course, and we had there's the retaining walls there. One of those retaining walls was starting to fail, and part of us being a part of fixing that, because it benefited the golf course, we were going to pay half of that repair. Fortunately for us, they decided to do some work internally to test whether they could fix it on their own, some of the city staff I'm referring to. And they did a great job, and so we didn't have to do that. That is an example of how golf funds could be used outside of really helping golf, but it would have some type of connection to it. And it's my understanding that that money could not be taken away from golf.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, to Keith's point too, that would be political suicide with all these growing numbers of people that are golfers, to then, it would just, we can't get people to serve on here, but boy, we'd have people to tell us what we were doing wrong, to your point, and they would be on the phone night and day about that. I really don't believe that we'd have to be in such city dire straits to ever get into this. There'd have to be some serious choices about housing people or some sort of thing that because we didn't get some sort of federal funding or some sort of thing that was so devastating that we had to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. I just don't see that happening. Even in this environment.
Well, that's good to know, and it doesn't really change where I'm going with the conversation, but it seems to me that as a board, we need to think about ways to generate more funds for the golf courses beyond what you're generating now. And that should be a topic for discussion as to how do we do that, whether it's tournaments or I noticed that one day you had a simulator-like thing in here, trying to generate money through a golf simulator or something like that, so that the golf courses have the opportunity to improve not just the basic stuff, but enhance the overall quality of the golf course. Like, one of my big issues is standing restrooms at U Creek, but that's just me. But there could be other things like expanded clubhouses or expanded cart pass.
I also
turn at the 9, a little shop at the 9 or something.
It's the use of like a room like this. How often is it used for a wedding, some sort of group getting together to have just some sort of space to like corporate sort of meetings and maybe team building type of things for smaller businesses and stuff like that. That would be a revenue generator if it's not already being used relatively often.
Yeah. My ideas may not be acceptable as concepts, but I like to think that the overall concept would be acceptable. It's got to be a better thing for the golf courses if they have more money to to manage their lives with.
Yeah, so no question. Let me just respond to Sean. This time of year, I think that is a real potential that we could build on and bring in extra revenue. The challenge becomes is during the summer months when a lot of people want to do that. This space has to be committed to our golfers, and we can't ask them to go out when we want them to use the snack bar, to hang out after their round. So that has been our challenge during the real open months.
Right. Oh, yeah. But it's just like any venue. Like you'd go anywhere, they would say these are blacked out dates.
Yeah.
And people would have to realize that. But if you wanted to get an inexpensive place to have your small, kind of intimate wedding with the views that we have here and the accessibility of the bar and other things like that, and kitchens, then that would be the.
I would imagine that you would need new kitchen. You're right.
I ran this place for 19 years.
Yeah, I don't know all the things.
I can speak to all of that. It's not the generator that you think it might be.
I would. Yeah,
It's really not. And to what Jeff just said, well, in the summertime, we really got to have, let me tell you, when we're open in the winter, we don't have another option when people come off the golf course. They have to come in here. So if we're open, we have to have this open for the public to come in and sit down and have a drink after a round of golf. And in 19 years, I think I hosted 3 or 4 weddings.
And we have the Wednesday group that comes every week that uses this room. But so let's continue. I heard what you said about other revenue options. We don't have to have that conversation this evening, but we can have that certainly on a future agenda.
Yeah, like a brainstorming.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there's plenty of golf courses in the area that do things slightly different that we may learn something from. Maybe we don't. But I think it's an opportunity to explore that.
Yep.
I don't know how we're doing on time, but I
About
have
3
two.
minutes.
Okay, real quickly, I have 2 quick questions. Okay, and it's because I wasn't here. So the surveys are done.
No, we haven't done those because we haven't really been open. We're waiting for the busier time of year, so those will
No, I
be.
mean, like
Yeah,
the
they're
questions
ready
are
to go.
finalized.
Yeah.
The concept is ready.
Yeah.
How we're going to deliver it.
I believe so.
Excellent.
Okay, I apologize for running slow on this agenda. So item E, do you have something that?
No, we removed those. E
Okay.
and F were removed.
Okay, items from the staff. Anybody?
No.
Items from the board?
Nope. That's good.
We may actually finish on time. Okay, I've got 6:59.
And it's not the end of the world if we would go to 7:01.
I do have a hockey game today.
I motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor? Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate it.